one of the key things that you and I need to hang on to is our hope. Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 23 talks about holding on, holding fast, that white knuckle grip on our hope or our confession of hope. I'm Zach. This is The Average Christian. It's a project about learning what it means to have a relationship with God and learning how I can live this out in practical terms. It's something we need. I've told a story before about a lady who was afraid to leave prison or leave jail because she was afraid of going back into the same neighborhood, the same problems, same mistakes, and leaving her kids behind 2 and 4 years old at the same time. And she was so worried. And this was in the middle of a study in jail that evening, and we just dropped everything and went to talking about this word, hope. And biblical hope, in case you don't know, is not, I hope that I get this for Christmas. It's not wishful thinking. It's not that I hope that they remember this, that, or the other. It is wishful thinking. It is desire, but it's coupled with expectation. That's the biblical concept of hope. And so we need to make sure we have that expectation. And that's what is talked about in 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 3, starting in verse 3, this living hope. And I'm going to define it just a little bit and then talk about why it is so important, not just for you, but as you serve God and serve other people, why it's so important for everyone else that comes into contact with you and how they're going to see that, hopefully. Look, I just use it in wishful thinking terms, how they're going to see that in your life. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 3. According to his great mercy, he has caused us to be born again through a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. If you want to see that resurrection and hope married together and explained in more detail, go read 1 Corinthians chapter 15, and it talks about how this is a living hope because Jesus was raised from the dead, and so I'm going to be raised from the dead and go on to live with him in that new life in heaven, caught up with him in the clouds if I'm still here, or raised from the dead, literally, if I pass before Jesus comes back. Whatever the case is, it is this living hope, meaning it's always there. There's no reason to never have it. It will be hurt at times. It will take punches. It will be shattered at times, but there is always better coming. The promises of God, the knowledge that good will always win in the very end, that there is nothing outside of me that can keep me or separate me from the love of Christ. All of these things are about hope, what I want plus what I expect. And that is largely tied to my future, my eternal future. And he says he has caused us to be born again through this living hope, through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, to an inheritance that is imperishable, undefiled, unfading, kept in heaven for you. We know about fading because anything that you buy that's new, it immediately fades. When you think of the word depreciation, most of you think about when you drive a new car off the lot, how the value already starts to fade. Not this. Now, if that's the case, how should I act? How should I be living? He goes on to talk about that at the end of this second letter, 2 Peter chapter 3. But I want to take you to chapter 3 of 1 Peter. And I want to show you this because I hear this referenced a lot, and I understand the emphasis put here on having a defense and an apology, if you will, in the realest sense of the term, of being able to explain. But do we know why we would even be in that position to be explaining, and what would we be explaining specifically according to this verse? But in your hearts, honor Christ the Lord as holy. Set him apart in your hearts as the one and only. Honor him as Christ the Lord as holy, always being prepared to make a defense, to give an answer. That would be the idea. There was a guy that said in preaching school that said, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink, but you can throw salt in the food. And the idea, it's funny that he used salt, given what Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5 about us being the salt of the earth and how we are trying to attract people and add that savor to our lives, in our lives to them. And so I'm sort of getting away here, but the idea is that we are trying to model what it means to be a Christian. And part of that modeling is this hope that we hang on to. And so we should be talking different from everybody else. And I know Christians are challenged with this right now. And I want to say this not in a negative sort of way, like I'm just, banging you over the head with it. But people need to see us with hope right now. But I see so many of us giving into hopelessness because of the political climate, hopelessness because of the moral climate in our country and so forth. They can't afford to see that in us. They need to see that this doesn't affect us, that whoever is in power or not in power or whatever laws may be coming is not going to make or break me. It will cause some disappointment. It will vex us like Lot was vexed at Sodom and Gomorrah and things like that. But it's not going to strip us of this hope that we hold on to, which is much bigger than this world, much bigger than the political climate or any other problem that you could come up with here. And so it says always being prepared to make a defense, to give an answer to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. But see, I got to cause them to ask by the way I live. I have got to live in such a way that they're going to say, why are you not falling apart? Everybody else is doom and gloom with this, or everybody else is, we don't know how we're going to make it through this COVID-19 pandemic. And you seem to always be hanging on to hope. You always see the, not the silver lining necessarily, or the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's not like we're just talking about being positive for the sake of being positive. It's that we see a bigger picture. We know we don't belong here, that we are sojourners, that we are exiles, however you want to say it. And there's so much more that we should live and act in such a way, talk in such a way that people come to us and say, how do I get that? How do I find this peace and this hope and this joy? And it tells us, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice in Philippians chapter 4. And there's never going to be a reason to give an answer, to make a defense, if we don't first show them that hope and give them the reason to ask us for it. And we should do that. When we do so, to finish up that verse, it says, do it with gentleness and respect. And that's a video for another time. So I keep using the word hope, but I sincerely hope, meaning I want you to and expect you to be living this way so that people are asking you, with so much that seems going wrong, don't we need it as a society? Don't people need to see that, to see something that is beyond this, that is above this? And their only connection to that many times will be you. They probably won't pick up a Bible. And I know that age-old phrase or mentality that goes something like, the only Bible that some people will ever read is you. That could be the truth. But if we live and act in this way, maybe they'll ask, what is it about you? Why don't you fall apart? Why are you hanging on to this? Why are you seeing the good in life? How do I get that mindset and that attitude? So have it for them as well. I want to thank you for being with us today. If you're watching on YouTube and you have not already, you can subscribe by hitting this button below. There are videos over here, one that YouTube recommends, and the other is our latest release. Also, if this video helped you, please hit the like button. It helps us get the word out. For our podcast listeners, thank you for being with us as well. If you have not already, we're asking you to subscribe, rate, and review once again to help get the word out about the channel, give us more exposure. And the only reason we want that is so we can help more people. And please consider sharing this with somebody.